Good evening, class. Please sit down so we can do a read aloud today. We've been doing read alouds for a while now, and today I'd like to mix things up a bit, and we're going to work on asking questions about the text and making predictions. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this read aloud. Today we are reading The Napping House by Audrey Wood. There is a house, a napping house, where everyone is sleeping. Now I'm noticing that there's not a lot going on in this text. So what would you think goes on in the napping house? Do you think there's people running around and it's loud? Or do you think it's quiet? Yes, what do you think happens?
It's quiet.
Good job. Let's see what happens in the napping house. And in that house, there is a bed, a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Who do you notice is in the napping house?
Dog.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
Little boy.
Mm-hmm. Who's on the bed?
Grandma.
Mm-hmm. Good job. And on that bed, there is a granny, a snoring granny, on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Now I'm noticing that the boy is getting up. What do you think that means?
He's going to go sleep with Granny.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what happens next. And on that granny, there is a child, a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Now, if you notice, the boy is on the granny now. Do you see any characters doing any other kind of movement in this picture?
The dog's awake.
I wonder if this is the author using illustrations to help us to predict what is going to happen next in the story. Let's find out. And on that child, there is a dog! A dozing dog on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. So it does look like that the author does use the illustrations to help us to predict what will happen next in the story. Now you see, readers use this because they use the illustrations to help them to figure out if they're stuck in the story, and it helps them to comprehend and understand the story better. And on that dog, there is a cat, a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. Now I'm noticing that the characters are getting smaller and smaller as we progress further in the story. I wonder what that means. And on that cat, there is a mouse, a slumbering mouse, on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. That bed looks like it's getting really heavy. Do you think that they're going to be able to sleep on the bed for much longer?
Looks like it's going to break.
It's bending. And on that mouse, there is a flea. Can it be a wakeful flea on a slumbering mouse, on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping? Now notice that the author used the adjective wakeful here to describe the flea. What does wakeful mean?
He's not sleeping.
So I wonder what the flea's going to do to everybody. A wakeful flea who bites the mouse. Oh dear! Who scares the cat. Who claws the dog. Oh my goodness, there's just a lot going on in this story. Who thumps the child. Goodness gracious. What are we going to do? Who bumps the granny. Now I'm noticing here that the character, or that the author has used a lot of color here, because in the beginning, if we look, the house was not very bright. See, it's very dark. But now, since everyone is awake, and the granny has been bumped, as we can see, Who bumps the granny? Who breaks the bed? Oh no. Looks like they won't be sleeping for much longer. Who bumps the granny in the napping house where now nobody is sleeping. So, this story helped us to make predictions about what was happening in the text when the author used illustrations such as here with the boy getting up to let us know that he was going to be next in the bed. Now, readers use the illustrations to let them know what's going to happen next in the text because it helps them to comprehend the story and to understand. This has been our read aloud for the day, and thank you for watching.